Catherine Helen Spence, for devoting her life to the justice of the disadvantaged and the dispossessed. Millicent Fawcett, for being an active suffragist and leading the National Union of Women's Suffrage Societies. Kate Shepherd, for proving to be an inspiration to all suffragists and campaigning for sexual equality. Edith Archibald, for battling for decades for women's right to vote. Adelaide Hoodles, for her insistence on educational rights and knowledge for women to safeguard their families. Margaret Dharma Dawson, for campaigning in favour of female police officers in the United Kingdom. Elma Francois, for her courage to challenge authority and be publicly outspoken. Dame Annie Jean McNamara, for dedicating her life to the research and treatment of polio disease. Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, for advocating women's right to vote and becoming a doyenne of female rights. Tessie Camilleri and Blanche Huber, for being the first female students to study at their country's university. Sirimavo Bandaranaike, for rising up and making history by being the first female Prime Minister in the world. Indira Gandhi, for reminding the world that one cannot shake hands with a clenched fist.
And nothing worthwhile in life is easy, ever.
Agatha Barbara, for becoming the first female president of her country. Audrey Hepburn, for devoting her life to humanitarian work in villages stricken by famine.
It was an extraordinary trip.
Miriam Makeba, for prominently speaking out against racial segregation. Winnie Mandela, for her undivided support towards the eradication of apartheid. Wangari Maathai, for raising awareness about the conservation of the environment for future generations.
But perhaps we should be custodians rather than dominions of the other species.
Quentin Bryce, for promoting and protecting the rights of her country's indigenous people.
Because a real job offers dignity and hope.
Benazir Bhutto, for entering the realm of politics whilst also being a mother.
But it was a totally new world for me.
Christine Burns, for campaigning and creating self-awareness of trans and diverse communities. Unity Dow, for speaking about women's struggles for equality and justice through her novels.
I really do not grow up thinking, oh, I cannot do this because I'm a woman.
Sunitha Krishnan, for challenging the notion of human trafficking by breaking her silence.
Can you break your culture of silence?
Virisila Buadromo, for campaigning tirelessly for women in her country and becoming a symbol of bravery and hope. Tegla Larue, for being strong-minded and using the power of sport to bring peace. Humaira Abedin, for being strong and ambitious in defining her life-altering choices.
If you're doing this, I'm not staying. You need to let me go.
Kasha Nabagesera, for passionately fighting against homophobia consistently. Emma Watson, for initiating thought towards gender as a spectrum rather than two opposing ideals.
Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong.
Malala Yousafzai, for showing the world that education cannot be silenced by war.
When no one speaks and the whole world is silent, then even one voice becomes powerful.